Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Vocast. I'm your host, Drew. We're going to be doing another reaction breakdown today. Today is going to be Home Free's rendition of Oh Holy Night. Since it's coming up on Christmas, that is the 22nd of December 2022 as I'm recording this, and you will most likely be seeing this either on Christmas Eve or the 26th of December. So, we'll be covering this piece. It is a old piece indeed from Home Free. It's from about 8 years ago, and I am a bit late to the game on covering this one, but trust me, it'll be worth it. Before we go into the video, I do need to specify one particular thing. I filmed an entire reaction to this literally yesterday on the 21st of December, and I forgot to hit the power button on my audio interface that powers my microphone. So I was sitting there talking away with zero audio, and I made like a 30 to 35 minute reaction only for it to be completely useless. So failure on my end, but I cannot do a first time reaction to this now, but it will still be a reaction and analysis video like normal. So with that said, we're going to jump into the my brain stopped working for a second. We're going to jump into the portion first where I listen to the music without stopping or pausing, and then give you a very brief pause, and then we'll jump into the breakdown portion of the video. So with that said, we're going to jump into a disclaimer, and then we'll get started. Alright folks, just as a reminder, this will be the section where I listen through all the way without stopping. So we're getting ready to start that promptly, and here we go.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
This is beautiful.
Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. The thrill of hope.
I love these chords, guys. I love these chords.
Rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
It's all wonderful. Like, it's great.
On your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh,
It's just a wall of sound. This is great.
all night, when Christ
This is
was
awesome.
born. All night, divine. All night, divine. Holy night, holy night, holy night, so night divine. Oh,
We've got a lot to talk about later.
the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. The thrill of
With some
hope.
Belttones in here.
The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
That was a really cool cascade there.
Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine.
Just another wall of sound. This is wonderful.
When Christ was born.
belt before there.
All night, all night divine, all night divine.
This is just nuts. That high belting is insane.
All night, all night divine.
This is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Guys, there's going to be a lot to talk about, and we'll move on to that here in a second once we move to the analysis portion. But it gives me chills how good some of these acapella groups are whenever I cover them. It's just, I love their music. All right, so we get ready to transition over to the analysis portion. So I hope to see you over there, and we'll break this stuff down. It's going to be fun, so stick around. All right, folks, so this will begin the breakdown and analysis portion of the video. So we're going to start at the beginning again, and we're going to go through some of the musical trinkets in this, and I'll draw your attention to it, and I'll break down everything else the best I can. So we're starting at the beginning again.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
So the mechanism to start off this music it's very light for all of them. The background vocals are on the 4-part harmony. They're starting on an oo vowel, so it's very mellow, very, I wouldn't say ominous. It's just it's got a very filling sound despite the light mechanism, and it's appropriate for the message of the piece, and it's also appropriate for the style in which this is sung, close enough. Tim is also doing a very light mechanism lead. So when I say light mechanism, I'm referring to how they're singing. So I'm also referring to the volume of how they're singing. So whenever I'm saying light mechanism, I'm referring to the amount of breathiness the sound has, the volume the sound has, and the resonance of the person that is singing. So Tim here is using like a light mechanism. So he has a somewhat breathy sound to his lead here, and the background vocals do too. But Tim's got a excuse me. He's got a very breathy sound. He's not trying to push. He's just naturally singing, and he's doing it fairly quietly. And as you can tell with this kind of vocal technique, it's got some breathiness in there, but it feels more warm in a way, if you see what I mean. So if you were to sing like I'm speaking right now, with more resonance and more higher partials, to start off a song like this slow and this pace, it wouldn't really be right. Musically, at least, in a arranging context. So it's a good way to start the song off. You don't want to just punch your audience in the face with the sound with a slower song like this. So we're gonna go back, and I'll draw your attention to this as we move in. So
The stars are brightly shining.
So it's very breathy, but it's very light mechanism. Tim could do this all day long. That's why he's doing it this way. He wanted it to feel almost effortless in the arranging. So, and in his performance, he's got these notes all day long. So like I said, light mechanism.
It is the night
It's
of
very
our
easy for him.
dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and death.
Something else kind of too that Tim does a lot, and some bass singers do, whether if they are consciously doing it or not, is that some of them will scoop the beginning of a vowel or a note with chest fry or just vocal fry. And what vocal fry is that it's where you're essentially making your vocal folds pop whenever they make noise. So This is what vocal fry is. It's a popping noise, and it's best compared to the sound that one of those creatures makes. I think it's either from The Ring, or it's one of those creepy movies with the creepy lady and the dark hair. But anyway, I say all that to say that chest or vocal fry is whenever your vocal folds pop, and it's a very uncontrolled extended technique. It's hard to do, but if you're doing it just to scoop in the notes, that's something that bass singers tend to do a lot, and it's very easy. Gives it a little more feel. I mean, I'm sorry, a little more feel. That it gives it more of a genuine feel because you're just doing it naturally. You're leading into the vocals like, uh, uh, you're not doing it a lot, and if you sing without scooping a little bit, and you're a male, it might not sound as natural. So if you go, uh, sounds a little interesting, but if you go, or if you go, instead of just, it sounds a little more natural. So. Also, there is a scoop. It sounds like a voice crack, but that was intentional. You'll find it a lot in country music. So you go, behind. So I'll point it out to you as we're doing, or as Tim does it, and we'll move on.
In sin and error pining.
Pining. It's in a lot of country music. Bass singers do it sometimes too, and it's a tasteful scoop. It's good little vocal contrast whenever you're on a lead part. It also makes your audience, well, it engages the audience in the sense that it allows them to feel the music in addition to just listening to it, because you hear the voice crack and it gives off a sense of passion in what you're singing. So
Till he appeared and the soul felt his word.
Tim is insane with riffing, by the way, and it's not that often you find a bass singer that is really good at riffing.
The thrill of hope.
Okay, so the background vocals here have opened up to an ah vowel. So what's the difference between the ooh and the ah vowel? So typically ooh is typically more of a, I wouldn't say eventless. I would say it's less exciting than an ah vowel. So an ah vowel in music is typically used to induce excitement or indicate excitement or intensity, building volume, etc. And it helps a little bit. So this part right here is about where you start to realize that this piece is starting to move up, starting to swell a little bit in volume and intensity. It's not quite built up yet, but it's starting to swell.
The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh.
I think that this piece is multi-tracked, and the reason being is because, if I remember correctly, Chris Rupp has not done much bass for them in the past where Tim has carried the lead. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe Tim is doing the bass throughout this entire song, and he's also carrying the lead. So correct me if I'm wrong. Home Free typically does music that is not multi-tracked, so that way they can perform it live. But I don't know about this one. I think it's multi-tracked, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, now.
See, they went back to an ooh vowel, and like ooh, and then they opened back up to an ah. So it's this piece is moving in and out, swelling with intensity and volume, and it's really cool.
Divine all night, when Christ was born. Oh, night.
These chords, guys, I would love to stop and evaluate them all, but I would spend too much time doing it. There's a bunch of chords in here with notes that don't necessarily belong within the triad of the chord, so it gives this it gives these nice, buttery smooth chords because you'll have the first, the third, and the fifth with the triad of the chord, and then someone will have like a seventh thrown in there, or they'll have like a sixth. It'll be like a minor sixth or major seventh, or all kinds of off the wall notes that aren't within the natural triad, and it creates this harmonic soup. I mean, Home Free's good at it, Voice Play's good at it. Tons and tons of acapella groups are good at this, especially in the arranging and in the performance of it. So magnificent. Also, I failed to mention with the building of the volume and the intensity, with the oo vowel, the volume, etc. I didn't draw attention to the fact that Tim and the background singers alike also, their intensity built with getting more resonance and more vocal fold closure. So they did this by bringing less of a breathy sound, and they're building it into a more resonant sound. So it was more like this at the beginning, so now it's more like this, so it's got a fuller sound and it's more resonant. All of them are doing this now. Now, that I wasn't there, they're not over darkening like I kind of sort of did there, but you get the idea. Tim's got a really nice high range too. Awesome.
It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
So, for those that don't know Home Free, Adam Rupp is their beatboxer, but he can also sing, and he's got a beautiful voice. So it's really cool to see him singing in these pieces too, because he's got a great voice. You don't often hear it, so it's a really cool little piece there.
Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth, the thrill of hope.
Okay, there's some Belttones going on here. I mentioned that in the first portion, but there's some Belttones going on here. And what a Belttone is essentially is exactly what it sounds like. It is a pitch that sounds like a bell being struck, and it's in a vocal context that's more of like a do vowel. And whenever you're singing a note, you'll hit it with a do vowel. You're like do, like these guys like they're doing in the background here, and it's really cool to add those in whenever you add them in tastefully. So. And this little section is really nice. Vocal contrast, not the same vocal. They don't have the same vowels. They don't have the same volume. They don't have the same timbres. It's the same resonance throughout the entire thing, etc. Really nice. All that to say that the Belttones here are really cool, and I know not that many people incorporate them. They are very, very nice to have if they're done right. So. Well done.
The thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
I talked about the cascade there. So what I was referring to, it's when you say cascade in music, you're referring to exactly this. So it'll be notes that descend in pitch. So, and typically whenever you have cascading, not only that they descend in pitch, one will usually follow the other in order. So it'll start at the top and it'll go down like a set. I just hit the mic. I'm sorry. It will go down like a set of steps. So boom, 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 boom. So in this one, they did it on the fall as they were saying fall. And just listen to how clean and how precise that this fall cascade was. I'll point it out as we move on. they've got a wall of sound at this point, and this is the most intense part of the entire arrangement and performance. And it's great how it built up to this because, and most people don't really realize this in some of their arrangements, is that they do a really good job of building intensity without you fully knowing that you're building intensity until you've hit this wall of sound. So it's a really cool way to grab the attention of your audience, but you don't realize that they don't realize you've grabbed their attention until it's the most intense part of the song. So that's really cool. Austin is an insane tenor voice. He has an insane tenor voice. He's got such good vocal fold closure up in there in that high range.
When Christ was born, oh, night divine.
That's a beautiful B4, people. A B4. So let me hit my piano real quick. Give me 2 seconds. So a B4, I hit the mic again. A B4 is this note here. And he's hitting that in full chest voice. I keep hitting the mic. He's hitting that in full chest voice without you dipping into a chest head voice mix or pure head voice or falsetto. He's belting this note with full vibrato, and he's doing it like it's nothing. This man is one of the most talented tenor singers I have ever heard. Hands down.
All night divine, all night divine.
Holy crap. Yeah, so this chord is ridiculous. So basically the bass in this part cuts out completely, and everyone is like at minimum like an A flat 4. So the chord goes A flat 4, B4. I believe that there is also a 5th octave note in there somewhere, which is nuts. I mean, we all know that all of these singers can sing in the 4th octave, no problem. But the fact that none of them are singing any lower than an A flat 4 means there are people singing higher than that. And singing that high in your range and getting good vocal fold closure, good volume, and doing it with vibrato like Austin is doing is just, it's crazy. These people are crazy talented. Also, one of the background vocals, I think it was Rob perhaps, did like a slide, like a 1 or 2 tone slide from a note. So listen in the background here. So from a G flat F sharp 4 to an E3. Let me verify that. Let me fact check that. So no, it's G flat F sharp 4 to a E4. And it's this crazy sustained chord too, because they just sit there and they hold it forever. So not only are they talented singers, they have insane breath control, really good vocal fold closure that high. They've got natural vibrato while they're doing it. They're just sitting there holding it forever. In addition to the notes being, some of them grinding together a little bit with some dissonance. It's just nuts.
Oh, no.
Something that also Austin is really good at is these voice crack like things in here. So it comes along with his Texan background whenever he sings, is that he does this a lot, and it'll go, huh? It'll be like a jump between registers, from his chest to his head voice. And this happens a lot in yodeling, fun fact. But Austin is really good at this being at, and he's good at doing it and making it sound good. There's a lot of people out there that can do it and make it sound bad, but to make a well placed voice crack like that sound good is takes talent.
Oh, night divine.
That's a beautiful E4, and that was a beautiful chord to end out the piece. It was beautiful, beautiful Christmas carol. Beautiful, beautiful song to cover. And I feel bad because this song literally came out 8 years ago. 8 years ago, folks. And I did a reaction to this yesterday, and that failed, obviously, which is kind of sad, but it's fine. I'm late to the game, but this was super fun. So, yeah, that's going to be it for the reaction today. So, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, we would love to have you. We've got some super exciting things planned for the month of January and the year 2023. Guys, if you can get me to 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a subscriber live stream where I do a live Q&A. Any questions that you want to ask, as long as they're tasteful and not colorful, will get answered on this live stream that I want to do after we hit 1,000. So if you guys are enjoying the content, if I'm bringing you musical value and I'm helping you understand music and better appreciate music, drop me a like, throw me a subscription if you are enjoying the content. And as always, this has been Joe on the Philcast. I love you. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you later.